Welcome to another Clutch Burners podcast. This is your home for stick shift drag racing, stick shift tech. And in this episode tonight, there will be a little bit of stick shift talk, but of course, I'm BangShift Billy, and we've got my awesome co-host, Canadian Chuck Norris, Rich Guido. And Rich, who do we have the pleasure of having with us tonight? I think he knows how to drive a stick, but we're going to find out.
I think the biggest smile I ever seen from Doug Cook is when he was driving a stick. So, yeah. Our guest tonight is Doug Cook.
Nice.
Nice. Surprised you guys invited me on here. I'm not known as a stick shift guy.
Well, I have a lot of questions, business related, and I think other people, listeners and whatnot, I think they like to hear it. I hear a little bit on podcasts you've been on and stuff when you talk, and it's super interesting. And you did a stick shift giveaway car, which we'll get to. So that qualified you just barely, but you're here.
Well, little known fact, my dad is a stick shift guy. He races with the Ozark Mountain Super Shifters. It's a little organization up in the Midwest. And yeah, he gives me a hard time like you guys do about automatics, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have a beautiful purse that you have in the back seat of that automatic car, right?
Yeah, well, I can drink while I'm going down the road and all that stuff.
Fair enough.
Have a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you don't have an old fashioned with you tonight.
I will tell you, if I ever build like a serious race car, it's gonna have probably a Liberty transmission in it, but it will still have a torque converter in front of it because I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment.
Like a Bruno drive, is that what they still call it?
Yeah, or quick drive or something like that. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. Well,
we used to be able to say that the fastest car in the fleet, being Brett, was an X stick car, because Snot Rocket, the first Snot Rocket, it was a stick car before it was an automatic.
Was it?
Yeah, isn't that the one that Joe Steele owned, and then he sold it to Brett?
Oh, that's 2.0. His first one, I think actually Brett's 2.0 was a stick shift originally, but Brett's first car was a automatic, and he kind of led the way in that whole 6-speed era from back in the day, the 6-speed automatic era. But yeah, I guess in a way.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess it would be kind of cool if you kind of give us the short beginnings of motion. I know you've talked about it before, but I actually love the story because it's pretty cool.
Yep.
And when did it start? It was like a decade ago, right?
Officially, it started in 2015. That's when we got our LLC. Like a lot of people, I started when I started driving. I started to focus on it probably about 2012. I was kind of getting sick of my corporate job, and at the same time, I'd taught myself how to weld and build cars, and I was steadily building a couple cars a year for customers and myself and all that stuff. And then about 2015, I don't know why, 'cause, like if I was to do it again, I wouldn't think this is a decision in a time period. Like 2015, 16 time period, I'm like, I'm going to do this for a living. We started Motion with $1,000. It was me and my buddy Brian, who most people don't know, but he's still a partner today. And then we brought my brother in a few months later. At that time in 2016, I'd never taken one penny from Motion, never bought a car part with it. It was just all reinvestment. And really what we were doing is as I was building cars in my spare garage, I would just be like, hey, this would be cool if it was done this way or whatever. And I had a background. My dad was a tool and die maker. He had a pretty large scale tool and die shop where they would make, fixtures and stuff for John Deere. And so I had a little bit of background in that, and then I learned how to scale it, at least at that point. In 2016, I quit and I just jumped in, both feet, and it's never looked back since. So we got our first CNC machine in 2018 because I continued to build cars for people, and that wasn't really my thing. I kind of had more of an idea to just keep bringing parts out. And so we started making our own parts because prior to that, where Motion's located in Iowa, it's really like the agricultural epicenter of the world. John Deere, Case, all those companies, Caterpillar, all of them are right there. And the good part is there's a lot of machine shops and a lot of talent. The bad part is if you're depending on them for parts, they really forget who you are pretty quickly when those companies fire up and really get moving. And,
yeah.
That's essentially what happened. And I just kind of looked at my brother, who was an engineer, And I was like, we're gonna have to learn how to run a CNC machine. None of us had done that outside of like running a Bridgeport or a manual lathe. So we signed on for our first CNC machine, and um, it really has taken off since then. And now gosh, I think probably 40 or 50, 60 machines, and
Wow.
between all three locations, we just really taken all of our thoughts and dreams and turned them into reality.
That's so crazy. Did you ever think it was going to grow this quickly or get as big as it is and continues to?
I think like a common thing with entrepreneurs is nothing happens fast enough, and you always feel like you're behind. So like I
Mm.
never really thought about it in terms of time, but I just have this like goal for momentum, and I'm happy it happened. I don't know like when I thought it was going to happen or whatever, but I don't really sit back a lot and think too much about it.
Nice. And
Hey,
oh, sorry. Go
I was
ahead,
going to say,
Rich.
what year did Drag Week stop by your shop one year, like 2015?
I think that would have been 16 or 7. I think that was 17 actually, because that was the year I brought my Nova out.
Oh yeah.
Probably the biggest financial ruin portion of my life. I was hot in the middle of it at the time. That was a year of, I mean, yeah, that was a year after I really kind of committed to it and quit my job. And I built that Nova, and I was still finishing it in the staging lanes or the check-in day at Hot Rod Drag Week. But no, that was probably one of my fondest memories, because somehow we talked everybody coming over for a pre-party, and spent our last dollar to give everybody food and drinks and stuff like that. So
I remember because I think I did a podcast with Scott Clark and Blasco sat down, and yeah, there was a whole bunch of us. And it was a really small shop at that time, right? Like you guys
yeah,
were.
and honestly,
That was cool.
some of the greatest people I've met to date were there that day, and I continue to be friends with. And I think they saw what we were about and what we were trying to accomplish, and they supported us. So it was a cool deal.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. So one of the things that's helped you guys grow is you guys have acquired, and in latest news, it's been Mark Williams, but you've acquired other companies. And what was the first one? Was it Rife, one of the first ones? Like
Rife
Rife
and TBM
TBM?
came at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, It was kind of like an idea I had because, as you get into these components in cars are really, you know, I mean, a lot of these companies take a lifetime to start and build and like develop and try things. So, and I was like, man, if we have to start learning how to make brakes from ground zero, or learning how to make, sensors or whatever, like it's just going to take a really, really long time. And I had this idea. I'm like, there's just people who have great products that I think we can pair with, and, essentially buy them out, I guess, and then take their stuff to the next level. So that's Rife and TBM were the first one. I actually wasn't really that interested in Rife sensors at the time. But it was like you get them both or you get none.
Buy one,
Uh,
get one.
yeah, electronics wasn't our strong point, but it's been like one of my favorite companies that we've had. And then I think we bought FluidWorks, which was R&R oil pumps originally. Kind of rebranded them just to learn and get the technology of like gear driven pumps, and then recently bought Mark Williams. So that was a big one.
And is Mark sticking on for a couple of years as a consultant, kind of easing that transition, or is he just out on a sailboat now?
We really felt strongly about him like retiring. He was 84, and he
Well, it's not past tense yet. He is 84.
he's 84. Well, he might, no, he's not 85 yet, but he's a really smart guy. Built an amazing product. That was actually a company that I've used for a long, long time, and I felt like really strongly about just kind of I didn't know Mark. I didn't know the situation completely, but I'm like, man, this company has to fall into good hands. And I'd kind of asked around and stuff like that, and eventually it did, come to fruition. That's just an excellent company that builds this top tier products. And I was like, man, there's only a few driveline component companies in the industry, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are familiar, but not a, it's not an easy product to make. There's a lot of technology, there's a lot of equipment, and just tribal knowledge. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, one of these goes away, like racing's going to be in a real bad way. It's kind of a same situation that like crankshafts and stuff like that are right now. There's just not a lot of manufacturers, and that was that to me that was a passionate one. So Mark, to answer your question, Mark did a really good job. He had a team that was phenomenal, and it allowed him to kind of step out. We've called on him numerous times about different things, but largely the day to day has, he's passed on his knowledge to Andrew Dixon, who's running the place over there for us now. Just he was Mark's right hand man, and he's just a brilliant guy. So we've been we've used him when we needed him, but really it was important for me that he could, he literally worked the night before we closed. He was there till 7:30 and at night.
Jeez.
And I was like, Mark, and he was there all the time. And I was like, Mark, what are you doing? And he's like, I have to get these POs right. Like, I think there's something pricing wrong. And I was like, just go home. Like, it's my problem now. So he had an incredible work ethic, but you meet his wife and you're like, they just deserve to go retire and enjoy themselves. So
Yeah, Mark Williams is relatively local to me. And I know Travis Podritz, and he's got that stick shift El Camino, and he's always at the counter there. And we got a funny story to tell about this too from Rich's car, but I think I've seen Mark a few times. I didn't know him either, but I think I would see him mulling about when I'd go in to pick up parts or drop off parts or whatever. And yeah, amazing company, the whole place. Like, if you ever get to go in the back, it's like, holy crap, like there's a lot going on here.
It's a spectacle. And I mean, front to back, that place is incredible. Like, the people, Travis will be there till 8:00 at night, making sure orders get ready to go out the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They give it shit. So it's pretty cool.
Rich, you got to tell them what they pulled into work and
Yeah. When I can't remember which, it was like, it's got to be like 2017, I think.
I'm thinking 17 or 18. Yeah.
Yeah, the rear end of my GTO had been making noise. Of course, I had driven it there, and you're hearing those things. But pardon me,
is this on Race Week, Rocky Mountain Race Week?
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Race Week. Yeah. And I pulled it over to the side of the road, and the car was getting warm or something. I can't remember. I was just going to take the hood off, but there was this stream of oil leaking out of the axle towards the curb. And I'm like, well, that's not good. And we were probably, I don't know, Bill's like, we're not very far from Mark Williams. Let's just go over there. So we went there. And of course, by the time we got there, the place was closed. So we jacked my car up, pulled both axles out, left the car there on jack stands with the axles sitting underneath the car, went back the next morning, and we were racing that day. And they fixed my Moser rear end all up, which was very big of them. I mean, they could have very easily said, see you later. But once we got a hold of the right people, took care of me, gave me his business card if we needed anything else. Like, it was fantastic service way back then too. So lots of, just like you're describing, lots of passion there. Definitely car people.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what they were thinking when they pulled up and seen this GTO with Alberta plates on it parked.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and now my latest piece on my car is Mark Williams too. The drive shaft, I tested it out yesterday on the dyno, and went a 3-hour drive to the dyno, 3-hour back. That was the longest drive since I put the 4-inch Mark Williams aluminum drive shaft on. Bill and I were just chatting, smooth as butter.
Good deal.
Very nice.
And Rich, you did a 6-hour round trip drive, and how much power did it make on the dyno?
My street car that gets driven everywhere made 1,526 horsepower and 1,488 foot-pounds of torque.
To the tires.
To the tires, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I love it.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
The amount you drive that car, I would never drive a car. And I feel like I'm fairly hardcore, but you're the next level, Rich.
The air's thin up here. It's it affects our brain power.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Huh. So Doug, talk about, like, I'm just, as an entrepreneur also, and I have more than one company, but I always, like, you're like a mentor and don't even know it, I think. But like, some of the like partnership with Garrett, for example, that was that like a happy accident? Did you like scope that out? Did you like friends with them and then he was blowing up and you're like, hey, let's partner? Like that, those things are such good moves. Like you're either a genius or you're just lucky. I don't know.
No, I think the best things in life happen serendipitously, like meeting
Yeah.
Rich and the drag week deal and all that. Like when Motion was like, I think it was a year before maybe I went full time. I was like, you know what, this summer I'd like broke up with my girlfriend. I was a single guy, had a couple dogs, but I was like, I'm gonna just go around the country, and I followed Streetcar Takeover and just had a trailer full of parts and cars to show off, and like that's what we did. And I'll never forget, I was in Indy and they had a streetcar takeover there, and I just like saw these people around and I'm like, what is happening? And I like look over and there's some goofball with a Corvette without a body on it, and I'm just like, good God. And like, he goes up there and does a burnout till the tires pop. You got to remember, like, none of this was normal stuff for me, or I don't think the world at that time. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, who is this guy? People following him back, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that is or what it's about, but like whatever. Him and Cooper ended up coming over, and they're like, hey man, like this car needs a fuel pump. And Justin Keith said that you knew a lot about fuel pumps. I was like, yeah, it's kind of one of our specialties. So set him up with it, and we just kind of became friends from it. And over the next like several years, of course, they're building cars, and we were helping them out with parts and all that stuff. And then I would say probably like the Freedom Factory thing happened, and we'd become pretty good friends. I was spending a lot of time down in Bradenton, even though I lived in Iowa. And he's like, I gotta show you something. He showed me the Freedom Factory, and I was like, man, this is gonna be cool. I just know what you're about. I'll sponsor it. I'm like, here to support you. And he's like, really? You sure? Like,
Did
because
you
I
lose
think
him,
he
Rich?
kind of knew where like our financial situation was. And
Doug, are you still
did I
there?
lose you guys?
Oh no. He's
Okay.
getting like
Some right in the middle of the good.
Hold on.
There he's back.
You're back. Okay.
Where'd
You cut off right where you said, I'm gonna sponsor him, and that's
Yeah,
where it
it's like,
stopped.
I'm gonna sponsor him. He's like, man, are you sure? Because like at that point he was doing a lot better than we were, and I was like, yeah, but I believe in what you're doing. And then like that was like the next level of our friendship, and got him through his hard times, and then he really took off not too long after that. And one day he just came to me. He's like, man, I'm running your parts on all our cars, and like that's like the next level of thing. I just want to be involved in something that I'm using on a day-to-day basis. And we kind of told him no at first, but then we went back and forth, and then it just transpired. It was very much like a both side situation. We didn't seek him out or anything like that. I think the best friendships, relationships, business relationships are that way. Like they just have to happen naturally, because the forced stuff always leaves somebody feeling like they got screwed. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we were.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of what I live by today. I'm like, I grew up just being a big fan of like Stevie Jackson and Stevie Fast, as a lot of people know him, and met him through all of this. And same deal. Like he was like, well, what can I do for you? And I'm like, nothing. Like, if there's ever a part you need for your car, like I'd be honored if it showed up on a car. And then we just became friends, and then now we develop a lot of our parts with alongside of him, and I get to go racing with him. So it's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Well, and it, when you were talking about Mark Williams and being 84 and talk about the passion there, and, he's obviously, clearly he's not in it to get rich. Like he's doing it because that's what he loves to do. Right. And, when I watch you and Garrett and, the first sick week when I watched Garrett go around the Freedom Factory, and I'm not sure if it was Donnie or which car, I thought this guy's gonna kill himself. Like
Yeah.
he's drifting around the Freedom Factory in front of all the sick weekers, and I'm thinking he's pushing it a little far, like he's gonna crash, but he didn't crash, man. That like he is such a talented young man, and you could just tell that the passion for the sport, and whether he's giving a tour of your shop or what he's doing, he's just so passionate. Pretty much like Mark Williams, who, when he's worried about POs at 84, when clearly he probably doesn't have to. He's
Yeah,
just passionate.
I'm a firm believer that the passion will make you the money. But I think if you focus on the money, it goes opposite way. So, I mean, we're all doing
Yeah.
all right now, and Mark's did really well for himself, and I just, it really goes along with me making fun of all the corporate types. Like, you can't fake that shit. It has to be real, and people see right through it. But more importantly, like, life's too short to be. I mean, I already lived a life where I was doing stuff I didn't want to do in the corporate world, so you might as well have fun while you're here.
Yeah, and I will say you don't hold anything back when you comment about that. The private equity, the PE stuff, like, I see these posts, I'm like, "Wow, that's something."
Yeah, it's fun to get the jabs in because they deserve it for sure.
For sure. Well, it seems like there's so many companies that have just, like, the guts have just been ripped out of them because of it, and,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know if I can think of a specific example, but, like, we won't name names, Holly, but they have absorbed so many companies. I mean, so many, the list is so long, it's crazy,
Yep.
and some of them, like Mr. Gasket, I mean, they make gaskets, like, fine, I don't know how you screw that up,
Yeah.
but there's other ones that they have, like, it's just not the same, right?
Yeah, that's really what I was worried about with, Mark Williams. I just didn't want it to get into the wrong hands just because I was passionate about what they did and the product they made. Uh I mean, my money, I probably could have invested in the stock market and made more money, but, like, I think that there's a lot that has to be done to prevent those people, and that, like, recently people are like, "Well, aren't you private equity? You're doing the same thing they're doing," and I'm like, "No, I'm doing the opposite. We buy these companies, we put money into them, and, like, do all the dumb stuff that for passion rather than milk it and fire
Well
everybody and all that stuff."
well, and Rich and I were talking about this before you jumped on, but, like Mark Williams is a great example, like, I think the company was doing just fine, but look at what's happened since you guys have taken over, all the new marketing, the excitement, the parts you guys found sitting, and just the new blood, the new excitement, right? Is
Yeah.
just, like, reignited them.
Yeah, it's like I said, Mark, obviously, it's his company, he's a great steward of it, but, when you've done something for 61 years, and I hope somebody taps me on the shoulder if I ever get past that point, but, like, I think it always stands like you said, new blood, new marketing, all that stuff is definitely a great thing. We're growing at a pace now at Mark Williams where I'm like, "Guys, if we grow any more than this, like, we're gonna have to really, like, we're gonna have to really regroup." So I've been, like, really grateful and honored that people have, that they've revived this thing in my mind into what it is, and we're trying to not have it get out of hand, like, we just bought a really badass Akuma, dual spindle, dual turret lathe, to try to, like, speed things up in some different areas and try new things, and we're gonna continue to buy new equipment and stuff, but I wanna do it at a pace that makes it make sense.
That's manageable, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, speaking of growth too, your YouTube channel, like, I remember it was like 30,000 views, now it's like almost 150. Like, is that just organic too? It's just kind of blown up?
Yeah. I actually asked Garrett to not get involved with it a while ago because I was like, "I wanna get that 100,000 plaque on my own,"
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
we did. He does a little bit here and there, and we probably underutilize it, but we really enjoy the builds and doing and the real stuff. Like, I just can't bring myself, not because there's anything wrong with it, it's just not my style to, like, make content to make content. So you'll see
Yeah.
big dead periods, and that's probably why it's not bigger than what is. But, like, car behind us is this Tommy Boy car. We're getting ready to do a build series with that, and yeah, I
Well
just like to use it for just kind of like a real life of what we're doing.
well, and I mean,
Yeah,
con
t tell us a little bit about the stick car build and the giveaway. Like, you guys look like you were having a lot of fun. Like, that thing looked like a supercharged stick, Fox body. Yeah, I mean, that looked
It was
like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one was a blast. It was like a year ago, we were like, "I really wanna build a Calypso GT500 Fox body." Rodney Massengale from RPM Transmission put this thing up for sale, and it was already a six-speed, had I don't know, a Magnum C56 and a Coyote, and I was like, "Brett, we can do this." Like, so we found a brand new in the crate 5.2 Predator. engine, and we're like, let's just see what it does. And yeah, like you said, it was the most organic fun, and that's why those are like what I like to do those series on. Luckily, Brett's just an amazing mechanic, so he behind the scenes just like threw this epic car together in his free time. And but yeah, like taking that thing down the track, and you guys probably watched the video about like burn the clutch out of it, but only after Brett
Yeah.
burned the clutch out. I just
Yeah.
It's all his fault.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
he started it. But yeah, it was like that was really like brought us back to our roots. We're like, dude, we just had the most fun ever with like a 400 horsepower car, and then put the 800 horsepower engine. It had the same equivalent of fun, and it's just like, man, this is so relatable and like really what we need to like be doing. You know, like the Snot Rocket's cool, my Nova's cool, all that stuff, but like really it kind of like recentered us to, you know, the street car side of things. Like we all get so carried away because we're competitive. And that's why really why like we're building this GTX. I've never done the Mopar stuff, and we want to build a street car that people can relate to. So
Yeah, and the crazy part is, and I'm gonna blow my own horn a bit. I mean, the fact that I can drive a 1,500 horsepower car to work, to Florida, to anywhere, and the miles per mile, like it's just crazy, the technology from companies like yours. Like fuel injections brought us so far, but
Yeah.
it is nuts how much fun you can have with a car, even with an 850 cage. I'm not sure once you get past the 850, there's a lot of bars by your head
there's
when you
certainly
go
a
past
tipping
there,
point.
but
There's a tipping
Yeah.
point. I think it's like actually okay to go backwards from the tipping point, which is what we
yeah,
did there. Like we all had
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. We talk about this a lot. Like Rich has already gone way past his cage cert, nearly sevens, 828 at 175, basically. That's nuts. That's fast in a 4,000-pound car. And
Yeah.
I haven't quite hit my cage cert, but I think we will this year. And it's like, well, do you put more bars in it? It's like, no. It's dangerous. And when you can take the door bars out, it's like there's no cage in it at all. You just get in and out. It's nice. But man, when those door bars are in, I'm like, fuck this. I'll just drive my other car today. It's like 2 pins to pull door bars. It's like no big deal, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just lazy.
My Nova, when I wrecked it, was at tipping point, and I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go really fast. But prior to that, I had so much fun in that car. I'd drive it to lunch, and I don't of all the race weeks we did, I think there was a couple times I had a leak or something, but I never worked on it. And then you just go too far the other way, and it becomes less fun. So to me, some of these cars that we're doing is like a good release.
I can't
yeah,
agree more. Yeah.
yeah. You're gonna make me watch Tommy Boy again just so I can watch the movie and follow your build, because I think that's super cool. And those guys are big, and there's lots of room in the trunk, and you can have a lot of fun with those. So I'm excited to follow along.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you keeping the wedge motor in that thing, or are you going to put a new Hemi in it?
We're gonna put an updated engine in it, but we haven't like really released it yet. So that's all I'll say
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Hellcat, Elephant.
There's a lot
No,
of
no
good
comment.
technology on the Mopar side of the world. So
There is. Most definitely. Huh, that's awesome. Um, I'm just looking at our list of questions here. Rich, you put the sick week stuff. Ask him that one.
Yeah, what's your sick week predictions? Is this going to be the year? Are we going to see another five or a bunch of fives? Like I haven't caught up a Goldstone recently to see if his new car is like ready to go, but I think it is. And Brett, he's right there. Like,
I don't see how they couldn't be like handing them out by the end of the week, or at least I actually think day one there'll be them, because like Larry is showing up with the truck, and that guy's a fierce competitor. I
oh
think a
yeah,
lot of people think he forgot how to do this, but he hasn't.
No.
Looking at
no,
in that 275 stuff, that guy's a sharp individual, or sorry, 10.5 stuff. I think probably he's going to be a fierce competitor, and I don't know if the guy with the Viper's doing it or not, but
Ned, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, Goldstone's more than capable, and Jeff Lutz is capable. Like, there's just it could be I think it's definitely going to be an exciting year. And I think the thing that Larry really brings to the table is that guy doesn't quit. I think it's
No.
kind of become like on that top tier. It's like, well, if I miss, I'll just go home. Like, no, that guy's going to see it through. So like, I think he's going to make some people step their game up.
Well, and he's been off for a couple of years from the drag and drive type situation, but he's just been honing it. Like he's just been sharpening that axe, and he's ready to come back with a vengeance, I think.
Yeah, I bet if you take what he's learned over the last 5 or 10 years being off and apply it to his old program, I can't see how it's not going like comfortably in the fives. Of course, that's a perfect situation. We all know how drag and drives goes.
If
Yeah.
we could just apply what he's forgotten in the last 5 or 10 years to our programs, I
Yeah.
mean, man.
Yeah, I'll never forget that guy rolling around with a generator on the truck and a radiator. I feel like there's a radiator on the trailer and just all that crazy shit that those guys did. I'm like, to this day, I don't feel like working out hard, but they are not. They have no soul.
Yeah.
Well, and the Larry and the Lutz lost love. That's fantastic too. That'll just make more, like, I don't know if those two guys are still, but Drag Week, I mean, those guys did battle, and yeah, it was fun to watch and fun to be there and see for sure.
I think
So
I think just like in all facets of life, not that you gotta like want to kill each other, but having an enemy makes competition better.
yeah.
I find myself making enemies of people just so I can compete harder. And those guys are naturally doing it. So like I can't see how it's not gonna be an awesome spectacle to watch.
You know what's funny is I was doing just a quick interview because we got Border Wars coming up here in Canada. Freedom Plus is coming up. What No Way guy, Sean, is the one organizing it. That Justin Nunley's coming up and bringing the car from Pink's to race him. And anyways, I do the interview. He sends it to his wife, and his wife sends him a message back, and she's like, "What, no shit talk?" And I was thinking, yeah, I never shit talk. And I'm thinking maybe it's because I'm 3,000 miles from home and I just bad karma. I was like, fuck, that's a long walk. So I'm like, I should start shit talking, about all these 10-second cars who trailer their cars there. But I'm like,
I feel like
yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun and games till you got to walk home from Florida.
I
But
feel like you're probably onto something there. You need all the good juju you can get when you're that far from home.
yeah, it's gonna be. So, are you? Is your Nova done? Well, where's the Nova at, anyways? Like, we haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, it just hasn't been out. Just business getting in the way, of course. I think I'm about past that. The engine was actually supposed to be done. I'm building a billet Noonan LT engine for it. Of course, it always sounds good on paper, but we ended up having to make some custom components for it and stuff like that. Set us back.
Is
So
Stefan building that for you?
Steph's building it. Yep. And
Nice.
actually, being a fellow foreigner like you are, he actually had to leave the country on his, I think it's an H-1B visa. You have to like check out and check back in. So we'd hope to be testing it, but the stars didn't align. So I got enough going on. I'll be back soon.
So nothing. You're not bringing anything to
No.
Sick Week then, or
No, I don't think I will. I think we're gonna let Blaine bring El Toro. I promised that to him a while ago, and
Nice.
I could probably resurrect my orange Mustang, but like I said, I have so much going on. It's hard to step back long enough to do it at the moment.
Well,
gotta watch it, Doug. Pretty soon you're gonna be 85, and someone's gonna be pushing you out the door. So don't forget to live in the meantime.
No, believe me, I've been thinking a lot lately about building. I've always wanted to have like a serious, like competitive, like radial car. So that's on my short horizon, and living life is on my horizon. But I just want to make sure I do what I'm supposed to do for the business first, and yeah, we'll make time.
Well, and you've got a pretty great family too. I mean, you've got an awesome daughter. Like, how old is she now? 3?
Yeah,
Is she
she's
3?
2. She's 2 next. So yeah, that part has really kind of affected me a little bit. It's been this like last 6 months has been just an incredible fun journey with a baby, and that's my only one, and I'm probably gonna be our only one. So I'm like, man, I'm really drinking it in the best I can.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
and I know people say this. Rich and I'll say the same thing. I have 2 daughters. They're 20 and 22, and it goes so fast. Like,
Yeah.
I just remember when they were 2 and 3, and it's just like seem like yesterday, but it was like almost 20 years ago. So it's crazy.
I'm pretty confident
Yeah.
I'll be at the racetrack a lot because if she comes out to my race car shop, which I'm in right now, it's just like this girl is hooked. So like it
That's
wasn't my
awesome.
goal,
Nice.
but I know she's gonna be making sure I'm at the racetrack.
That's great. That's great. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, you mentioned Blaine too. Yeah, that's great. I haven't seen him for a while. Apparently he's taller,
Yeah,
but
he
it'll be good to
looks
see.
like a guy now. Like he's
Yeah.
he's he's a full grown adult, full grown man. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
Yeah, he's
it
been
is nuts.
helping Brett out quite a bit too, hey, at the track and stuff.
yeah, he's been committed. He's been at every race, and it's so cool because I have this picture on my desk at work, and he's like, just about up to my rib cage, and he's giving me
Yeah.
knuckle lanes at Rocky Mountain Race Week 2020, and now like to watch him work, like something happens. The cool thing when we go racing with Brett, more times than not, like everybody from TBM is there, but now Blaine's just in the like. Blaine will come in 3 days early and put Brett's engine in while he's at work and like get it basically ready to fire. Like his skills are incredible for a kid who's not quite 18 yet. Or actually he just turned 18 last month.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome. Tom Stark, another clutch burner. That guy he raised them right.
yes,
definitely did. Yeah.
and continues to. I mean, Tom
Continue.
is
Yeah.
yeah, Tom and Letta are they're amazing parents too, so it's good.
Yep. Yeah. It's pretty cool to be able to see him grow and alongside of us.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sick Week alone is like this huge family reunion now. I kind of missed it last year because Blasco hit the wall on day one. Kind of wrecked my vacation. But I can't wait to can't wait to go back again and hopefully spend the whole week there this time.
I've been
But
in that
it's
position.
so good.
I love all the events, like all the drag and drives, but the one cool thing about Sick Week is it's when nothing else is happening. So it doesn't, like you said, it's a family reunion. It attracts everybody. Fortunately, just because there's only so much time, like the summer, the fall, the spring, like a lot of people will choose their route, what's closest to them and all that. But Sick Week is it's a banger.
yeah. It's quickly become like the event. Like the fastest cars are there. It's
Yeah.
pretty nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's fitting. It's in the home of all the fast cars, so Georgia,
True,
Florida.
true. And you live right outside of there now, Bradenton?
Yeah, I live about 15 minutes from Bradenton Tracks. That's where
Okay,
that's
nice.
my home base anyways.
So how often are you back in Iowa for that operation? And you said you have 3 locations now. Oh, I guess Mark Williams, right?
Yeah. So I was in Iowa all last week. I try to be there every 4 or 6 weeks. Iowa has a just incredible team. Like there's 40 or 50 of the baddest dudes on the planet there. And most times when I'm back, and they're like, "Can you let us do our own thing?" We'll say, "You tell us what to do," but like we got this, Doug. And I'm like, okay. And then TBM is down here in Florida, so I spend a lot of my time here. And then, but now with Mark Williams, I've been out in Denver quite a bit. So we're gonna have to go
Nice.
out to dinner one of these nights, Bill.
Yeah, and I know there's a lunch place, an Indian place not far from where I am that you
Yeah,
love.
one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta see if the buffet is still open after COVID, but yeah, for sure. Hit me up. I'm totally down for it. It'd be great. So what else, Rich? What else we got for this guy? What else you want to talk about,
Um,
Doug?
I could talk all day. I'll see if Rich has any questions or whatever.
well, I asked you about the Nova and Sick Week, the stick car giveaway, the YouTube growth. Anything else you could tell us about the new build behind you there?
Not really. Just that we'll have it on Hot Rod Power Tour this year. That's like a sector of our business. I feel like we've kind of ignored too much. But really, like we started out race cars and we build a lot of street car parts, and obviously, but less of the gray area street car parts is kind of what I want to accomplish with this deal. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a development mule for a lot of our stuff. The last probably 6 months we spent, well, probably last year, we spent a good amount of time developing a bunch of fuel system component parts. Have a whole line of filters and regulators now, and then we're getting ready to release our mechanical fuel pumps here in the next month or so. So I'm pretty excited
Oh,
about that.
sweet.
Obviously,
Are
that
they
doesn't apply to this, but we have some electric pump stuff we're working on also.
Will those mechanical pumps have an electric clutch on them?
No, I did. They're that was that Chris Stewart has that deal for Dragon Drives. That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
so. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, I think he's got that covered. We're really just wanting to jump into the meat and potatoes of the fuel pump side of things. So
All right. Nice.
seems like he's got a good solution there.
So you guys are developing some electric pump stuff too?
Yeah, loosely. Our first step was just mechanical pumps, just naturally based off of our oil pumps. Similar but different. It was kind of like what really piqued our interest, and that whole world feels like it's kind of segmented, and the private equity company that got involved with one of them. So we just want to kind of do our part to make sure we have a real company ready to rip there. So
Who? Which one? Which one got taken over by private equity?
I can't really talk about it. I don't want to like call them out by name, but
okay.
there's probably the biggest fuel company got taken out by private equity. So we just try to keep our eye on the ball with all that stuff.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah, that's smart. Huh.
I did think of something. Thinking about your YouTube channel, and one of the YouTube videos that you did was on parachutes and packing them backwards, and yeah, it feels like you got to redrop that video again, because I don't know about you, but like I think it was even at World Cup, and I've seen a few events where there's been some goofy looking parachute deploys, like they're tangled up, they're
Oh yeah,
one's working, one's not. That's crazy. When I see that, I mean, they're really not that difficult to pack if you're got your act together, but I have seen lots of them where there's some shady shit going on.
yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Like, yeah, you're right. I probably should drop that one. I think you're talking about the video where I talked about it being up inside out and the parachute deploy goofy. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's on this video, there's a lot of good content out there. Tim McCamus has a good video. Bob Stroud put out a good video. We did just a lot of times we do it just because we know our audience will catch it where they may not catch it some other places. But man, stopping a car it seems like it doesn't seem like it's always everybody's last thought anymore. It seems like
Yeah.
it's not just parachutes. Like with TBM brakes, we find people just flat out ignore the basic principles. Now we put like on top of when we package a box of brakes, it's like stop. Make sure you have 700 to 800 psi minimum before you go down the track. And a good brake system, which is pretty. I mean, even some of the factory brakes will work phenomenally if you do all those things right, but nobody cares. It's like they bolt the brakes, they spin, cool, all right. Like bleed them, we're
Let's
out.
go.
And like it's probably like one of our biggest like head against the wall things is you sell somebody a sparkling new set of brakes, you put that on top, you sell a pressure gauge, you give them good fluid, and they call you and like car won't stop, and you're like, okay, well, what's your brake pressure? I have no idea. And you're like, okay, did you unhook your oil pressure gauge on your engine too? Like, this is kind of a pretty crucial thing that, like, it can't work without brake pressure. And, they'll call back, well, I have 250. And you're like, okay, that's enough to just heat the shit out of them. It's never going to work like that. And then I guess it's a double-edged sword, because the gratifying part is once you finally talk them into like listening to you and not thinking it's witchcraft, like, they're like, holy crap, I don't even hardly need a parachute. Well, I still use it, but like it's brakes. When I grew up like racing, I remember I had like dual caliper rears and one on a set of drag brakes on the front, and like I had no idea what I was doing. Probably like 3-to-1 pedal ratio, and I was probably that 200 psi at the caliper guy. But there's a lot that goes to it. Now that we own a second brake company now is Mark Williams, inadvertently. They make great brakes too, so I get to see it from both ends now. But
Yeah.
people gotta get their stopping game in order, because it's scary.
I need to pick up my stopping game because mine are okay, but I think they could be better. And I have no idea what the pressure is, so I need to check it on mine.
I hope that statement I just said makes some people say, shit, I better get a pressure gauge and see what this is all about.
Well, it's funny because I used to have on my clutch controller setup for testing and stuff, I used to have a pressure gauge for the clutch, hydraulic clutch pressure.
Yep.
And I don't use it anymore. Like I got what I needed, and I have the pigtail there, and I'm like, it's right by where the brakes are. I think I just put 1,000 psi pressure sensor in there. Like I just got to do it right. And It's wintertime, so that's gonna be on my list here. So I know what it is.
Yeah, like sometimes I just like try to talk people into it. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna sell you this 1600 psi Rife sensor. You're gonna put it in, and you can use it as a brake light switch. Use the table and create a brake light switch off of it. But also maybe just log it so we know what's going on when you have a problem or if you have a problem. It's
Yeah,
it's just like a clutch. If you didn't have pressure with a clutch, you'd be scratching your head. But once you have data behind it, it all makes sense, right? So
exactly,
it's
exactly.
just a
Yeah.
quantifiable, measurable component of performance. So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there was I pretty much watched all the World Cup, and I was surprised how many people had issues either with deployment or brakes. And yeah,
it's scary,
not
man.
good.
It's
It
scary.
is very
I'm
scary.
surprised more bad stuff doesn't happen, and it makes us cringe. Like, well, one of the cool things about where we're at with motion and TBM and all that now is we have representatives places. So, like, I think in one of Garrett's videos, this like S197 or S550 Mustang comes glowing the rotors
Yep.
up, and
I
Yeah.
remember this.
Yep.
Became a great
everybody,
ad.
everybody's like, "That's so cool! It stopped!" And Jim calls me, or I called Jim, like, "Hey man, you might want to go check that guy's car out. Like, it shouldn't be doing that. Like, I saw it ran, like it was a fast car, but like that's a decent shutdown." He goes over there, and nothing against the guy, but I think he had like 300 or 400 psi brake pressure, and Jim gets him set up, and he's like, next pass, he's like, "This is amazing. These brakes are awesome." And when he walks up to him, the guy's like, "These things are so awesome." I'm like, "Based off what?" So it's really cool that we have people on site. There's a lot that goes into it, and on brakes and everything on the car. But
Okay, so like on that one in particular, what did he do between rounds to make the brakes from shit to great?
I'm I'm just trying to go from memory right now, but I believe he had brakes are a component of the mass cylinder size, the bore,
Right?
and the
Yep.
pedal ratio. So,
Right.
and then along with the travel, and like I think Jim walked up and I think he had like our two piston brakes on the front and four on the rear, and or maybe he had four. Either way, he had I think he had like the factory pedal. Like the common thing people do is they'll bolt on our manual master brake kit and they'll hook the push rod right back up to the factory location, which on a power assist vehicle, you want like 3 to 4 to 1 because you have a diaphragm increasing the pressure. Well, when you
Yeah.
go to manual, you don't have that. So like in you have to move that further up the pedal, which is actually a natural line of for the master cylinder based off where we place it. So I think he moved it up and maybe put a smaller master on it, and that's all it usually takes. So it's usually,
Okay.
like I said, I used to think it was black magic, and it's really fairly simple once you understand the principle. We have a calculator right on our website, but like I said, most people just ignore it. And they're like, TBMs are the best. I should be good. Like, no, no.
There's some math and you got to do in there, right?
We
Yeah.
do need them to operate how we intend them to operate for them to work how we intend them to work. So
Yeah.
Do you
And Rich,
know
you just upgraded to TBMs on your car too.
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
I drove them down to Six Smokies and back, flattened both my front tire or one of my front tires. Had nothing to do with the brakes.
it worked.
Yeah, everything worked great. In fact, I did a bunch of measuring and sent it back. So I think it was like 5,000 miles. One of the issues I was running into with my Willwoods is after a certain amount of wear, they would always taper, and then they would drag really bad to the point where sometimes if they were hot, you go to move the car, and it's like I got my front emergency brakes on again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know enough about it, but yeah, they were great. So they were no problem at all. I think I'll pick up a set of spare pads just because of the amount of driving I do when I'm down in Florida. But no, super happy with them. They work great.
Yeah, and you have our vented rotor. Like that's probably the coolest thing about our businesses is like when we bought TBM, they had like their two piston front brakes and their four piston rears, and that's what you got. Of course they like operated in all these different segments, but we kind of could because we were in a different world. We were able to like see around corners and be like, a guy like Rich really needs like a vented rotor brake. You cannot dissipate the heat from a 4,000-pound car that fast good enough with a single thickness steel rotor without burning through pads and rotors and stuff like that. And Yeah, so that vented rotor brakes based off of like a rotor that they used in circle track, like late model, just been abused to the end of its life, and it's a whole new caliper. That, going back to what you guys were talking about, all the different companies, like that's the most fun thing I've had. Like buying a company that has good principles, and we'll do the same thing with Mark Williams, and then taking it, applying those principles, and building the next generation of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
speaking of the car behind you and your future build, I think there's still one piece in the market that like an integral emergency brake in a high performance braking system like TBM or something.
Yeah, we have
I think
those. We have an emergency brake about done. So,
yeah.
my goal, I told my team last week, is to have it out Q1. So we had a mechanical one that was basically done, and then we were like, we really want an electric one, so we just scrapped it and started over with an electric one, and that one's like in testing phases right now. So I'm hoping by like, spring or whatever, we'll have a readily available solution. So
Because
I
that is
s-
the other that is the other reason that I have one. Is mine is mine is a '79 Cadillac Eldorado on the back of my car, but the reality is it has nothing to do with the rest of the braking system. Like you
yeah,
push on that's an emergency brake, and
yep.
it should stop you. So it is a nice backup system to have, let alone when you have a stick car and you just need an emergency brake.
Yeah, that Fox
ugh.
body, it's about that. I was like sticking wood behind the tire and stuff like that. So I get
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, yeah,
I better
exactly.
I better stay tuned on that because I have Willwoods on my car, and I need to check brake pressure, but I do not have the emergency brake installed in the back because the roll cage and stuff just wouldn't work with the brake pedal anymore. And if you have a non-mechanical option coming up, then I probably should take a look at that.
Yeah, like if one thing comes through this podcast, it's like 7 to 800 psi on a normal brake push. Those shit should be 1200, 1200 or more. We get calls about that all the time, and like we're happy to help people through that. It's not terrible, but we do it every day, whether it's our brakes or not. Like same with you. Like just call us, we'll help you through it. There's a
Okay.
lot of brake systems that can perform much better. I'm an salesperson a lot of times. Somebody will be like, I have this, this, and this, and car won't stop for shit. I'm like, well, let's try and get that fixed first because you have an underlying issue, because those should stop. I mean, are they going to be as good as ours? Maybe not, but like, let's get that figured out.
So
Maybe you'll.
so I guess like the question would be, and this you'll probably be able to answer this immediately. Like if I do a panic stop on the street with my street wheels and tires, I cannot lock up the front tires.
That's
Like that's
probably.
not good.
Yeah.
That's just not enough pressure, right?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, it could be argued either way, but yeah, I mean, I don't really intend to skid the tires. Like we'll set our cars up, like our drag and drive cars up to where the majority of the braking's done on the rear of the car because you have a bigger contact patch. But
Yeah.
like on your car, you have a big front tire and a big rear tire, so like you
For
should
the
be.
street. At the
Yeah,
track,
yeah,
I don't.
that's true. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, you should feel like you should be able to lock them up in
It's just poor man's ABS. That's what it is.
yeah, with a four piston front and a 4-piston rear, which is what you have. Like you should be able to lock them up.
Okay. I better order some sensors. Check this out.
I'm gonna guess you have like 300 to 400 psi brake pressure max.
Needs to be more than double that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm
Yeah,
caught.
it'll help you staging. It'll help you staging too, Bill. You can use it so you can stage consistently with the sensor.
And a lot
Yeah.
of companies talk about this. Some don't. Some companies won't, because what happens is when you have an immense amount of brake pressure, which I think is just like a standard amount of brake pressure, if the caliper is not strong enough, it will start to flex. And that's where you get your pad taper at, Rich. So like when the
Okay.
caliper flexes when you push it, the piston basically comes out at an angle because the piston's just going to correct itself to flat surfaces. And then eventually that piston's going to be cocked and the bore is going to be pushing on the pads weird. And eventually the caliper stays flexed is what I'm getting at. So I don't know. It's kind of a dirty secret about braking system. A lot of times the longevity of the caliper is like not people's first and foremost. So it's a fine balance with some systems.
So the fact I haven't experienced this issue that Rich has means I don't have nearly enough brake pressure.
Likely, it can be caused by like if you have a a caliper that's not parallel to the rotor,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to trash anybody's product or anything like that, but there's a variety of things that can cause it.
Perfect. And
Yeah, well,
what about
I'm also
you?
super excited about your rotors because I was like 8 months. I'd crack a set. So so far so good. Also good.
Yeah, those things
I'll
have
keep you
been
guys.
those rotors are very expensive, but that was like one of my things. I'm like, if we're gonna come out with a brake kit, it has to be as good as our drag brake. So I didn't really want to cut any corners there.
What do you guys use for master cylinders? Do you make those as well?
Currently, kind of. We're actually getting ready to release our own master cylinder. So that's one of our hot products for 2026. Because we are just kind of like the weird thing about master cylinders, unless you have like one of those pedal assemblies where it has two individual cylinders with a balance bar, it's
Yeah.
hard to get the right size because not very many companies make the correct size master cylinder. So we find ourselves kind of hodgepodging. So we were forced to learn how to make master cylinder ourselves, which on the surface doesn't look that hard, but we're like a couple years into the design and testing phases of all this, and finally ready for production. The
Well,
good
I,
part is
I
we can make it. The bad part is I don't want to count up how much money we have in the development of it.
well, it's crazy you say that because I know I have a Willwood master cylinder, and I don't know if it was a recall or what, but like we were driving, my buddy Bill Leak and I were driving my car to a race, Grand Junction or something, and the brakes completely went out. And thank God we weren't like driving fast. When we pulled over, like looking for a wheel cylinder blown out or something, we couldn't find anything. And then the brakes finally, and then they worked. I was like, what the hell? And it turned out it was something with the piston. They
Yeah,
had just had some,
I think they had a seal recall a
yes.
number of years ago on their
Yeah.
last cylinder, which
Yeah.
I guess
And
that
it
can happen
happened.
to anybody. So yeah, it's
It
scary.
was crazy. It was like,
Yeah,
holy crap.
yeah, yeah. It's
But yeah,
Well, I think
interesting.
the flip side to all that too is the drag and drive world is pushing all of that race car stuff, street car stuff way past what it is. Like when I have a failure on my car, people are freaking out. I'm like, hold on now. Like this part might have 100,000 miles on it. Like, let's not freak out that it like failed suddenly. Like my railwood hubs, yeah, they failed, but yeah, nobody probably thought anybody would be driving a 4,000 pound car for 50,000 miles with those. Like that is not, it probably says not for street use somewhere on it. So just
yeah.
settle down. Like,
I mean, that's the reality of that whole deal. Is I think there's a lot of these good companies that have a lot of good parts, but like you said, the drag and drive is insane. Uh, there's never meant to be that many miles on drag brakes. Like we'll have, you know, people are like, how many drag and drives should my pads last? I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you use a parachute? Are you pulling a 2,000-pound trailer behind you? Like, this
yeah.
wasn't meant to replace like a Silverado brake setup for a Silverado amount of uses, like, uh, but it's honestly one of my favorite things about drag and drive, like owning a high performance company is like, if shit's going to break, it's going to break on a drag and drive, and you're going to learn from it if you're halfway intelligent or care enough to learn from it. So,
Yeah. Rich,
but I,
your cat is at it again.
I don't know. It seems like the same time every time we're doing a podcast. It's
Every
like
time we
outside
get
the
about
door yelling at me. Yeah.
50 minutes into it.
I actually just got a cat yesterday, and I already don't have it snuck out, and I haven't been able to find it. So
Nice.
So
Yeah,
speaking of parts, like what part are you the most proud of that you guys have made since you started your business? That's probably a tough question.
yeah, it really is because I feel we make a lot of really awesome stuff.
oh wait, I think I know what it might be.
What do you think it is?
Your billet small block Ford valve covers.
That one's pretty cool. Underrated. We did bring them back recently because we were so disconnected from that world, and like we can't make snuff. So it's one of the like coolest looking parts is our Coyote valve cover. Valve covers are simple, right? Like they serve a fairly simple purpose, but somehow my guys were able to make a billet aluminum valve cover lighter than a plastic valve cover for a Coyote, and function better, and it looks amazing. I wouldn't say that's necessarily I'd say probably the parts that we can hang our hat on the most are coming. We've really honed things in. We have this really cool mechanical fuel pump that's on our fuel pump dyno right now that's really badass, and I don't know. I think I get excited every day, probably.
He, I'll tell you another one of your parts that, well, one, I haven't tried the Mark Williams lug nuts yet,
No, those
with
things
the
are fun.
bearing in
Dude,
them.
Rich, those are the
Those,
shit. They're
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
There's
and,
not
but the other,
there's not there's not a lot of parts like when you take off a car, you're not like, I'll take these old ones and put them in the drawer. Like even like long before I bought Mark Williams, I took my old ones off, the ones with the spacer and a lug nut. And I put the Mark Williams one on because it has a bearing and it stays together. And I was like, well, I have I threw those things in the garbage, like the old ones. I have no use for these two-piece deals ever again. Like if these bearing ones ever fail, I'll just buy another set or I'll buy another
Yeah.
set randomly. But like they are the cat's ass.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
awesome.
The other one we were talking about parachutes is that little cap that goes on the end of the parachute
Cable. The
sheath.
cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's one of the guys at Six Smokies. I was helping him out, and he's got like, this little forest of little pieces of steel sticking out. And I'm like, you need one of these. Go to Motion, pick up one of these, and it'll save you from, because I think he had a parachute deployment failure. And I'm like, yeah, I had the same issue till I put one of those little caps on where you can bury the rod so that there's no chance of it hanging up. So,
Yeah, I
anyways,
got that one
sound
from
like
Tim McCamus. I think he made a video about it a long time ago, and I was like, let's just make. Now I try at most events to just have them in my pocket because you can walk through staging lanes. You're like, that guy's going in the sand trap. That guy's going in the sand trap. That guy,
yeah.
like, here, man, put this on here. We can square up later, but you're gonna need.
So what about merch? Are you going to open a t-shirt factory soon too?
We have a really good manufacturer, a really good printing shop local to us that does good for us. I mean, sometimes it gets a little hairy when we have like that Fox body giveaway was insane. Like, the apparel sales for Motion. It's probably that's probably one of the things I'm most proud about, honestly, is that like people think enough of our parts that like if I go to Lights Out or Sick Week, like every other shirt it seems like is a Motion shirt, and for people to like love the brand enough to like wear our apparel is really cool. So that,
Yeah,
but no,
that's
I'm not.
awesome.
I'm trying to stay in my lane. And
You don't have Gucci loafers on, right? You're not in the fashion market yet?
actually got flip flops on right now. I'm real Florida.
Nice. Nice. That's good. That's good stuff. How far is the beach from your house?
It's about 15 minutes to the beach and 15 minutes to the track. So I would say we have a really good location.
That's
I would
pretty
say
sweet.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The year that like the Freedom Factory deal popped up for us, I think that year I at the end of the year I was like, Molly, we've been in Bradenton like 8 times this year. At least I have. I was like, let's just get a house there, and so we got a house to come to during the winter for all the races, and then like I couldn't feel her away from this place after that. So I'd probably be better suited to spend more of my time in Iowa, but it works out pretty well.
Well, it sounds like your staff doesn't want you there. So it's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, I'm still the boss, though. I do have a lot of fun when I'm there. Like being there last week, it was just there's so much passion and so many things going on. Like TBM is just a phenomenal place. There's robots and all kinds of cool development going on. But like the sheer size, like I don't think people realize behind the scenes of Motion. Most of our parts now are pretty complicated. So there's like 2 to 3 years of development. So it's legitimately like Tommy Boy where he's walking through the factory. He's like, check this out, Tommy. And like I'll walk back through there and the guys will be like excited to show me like the new fuel pump dyno or this project going on or this project or this machine. And it's like, God, I could literally just put a bed in that place and live there. So
Nice. Nice.
Well, good thing they probably won't listen to this because that'll freak them out.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like a me not being there is almost like hey, you better do your job right because I might come back more often, and then you guys will really be miserable. I'm like, hey, could we do this? Can we do this? So
That's awesome. That's good. Well, it's such a good feeling as a business owner to have a team that runs the operation well and just knows what they're doing without you like micromanaging it, right?
Yeah, it used to be all me and Brian, my brother Andy, and like it's been a weird departure to go from like, oh, we're really busy, I better help package packages to like, I put this bug in Jared's ear, who's our operations manager at Motion. I'm like, I want to be like freaking Amazon. Like the worst part about ordering a car part is when you order it and you're like, okay, I'll have it Thursday. I want to put it on Thursday night because I'll have time, and it doesn't show up. And so that's like a good example. Like we have, like I always say, we have like 50 of the best people on the planet at Motion, and like they got our fulfillment times in almost like an Amazon type of time frame now. And in the same time we're growing. And that was like, hey man, what resources do you need? Like, here's my idea, here's my vision, here's some tools I think will happen. And blink your eyes, it's 9 months later and it's happening. So it's far from Doug Cook's business at this point. I think it's everybody's business, and they're all as passionate as I am.
That's so awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's that we have separate sections and printers. Like if an overnight order comes in, it comes in on a different color paper, and it gets, it goes out when it needs to go out. We were not always like that, and that, as a business owner, that is probably one of the more frustrating things is when you do everything right, you make a really cool product, and then somebody's mad that you didn't ship it on time.
Yeah, yeah,
none of us have patience
Yep.
for that.
yeah. I run into that too sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it really is, but it's a big undertaking to take it to that next level.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. So,
Yeah.
talk about like as far as Motion, like, are you guys on Amazon? You're not in Summit or Jags, right?
No, my vision for this thing from the beginning was to be direct to consumer. I want to do the tech support. I want to ship it. I want to make it be closer to the consumer because, as much as you don't like to hear the bad stuff is what makes you grow. Like I'll
Yeah,
put out posts sometimes talking shit about this, that, or the other thing. And like somebody like, oh, easy for you to say, blah, blah, blah. And like literally it's my time to message. I love it. I'll message that person direct. What happened? What went wrong? And I feel like, I call me a control freak, but I feel like if we let that too far out, it would not happen. They'd be blaming it on XYZ company. And
yeah.
I really enjoy the fact that we can kind of control our own destiny from start to finish, from raw aluminum to somebody calling and complaining if something's not right. Because it's one thing to make parts, but to actually like make what people want and listen to what they're saying is important to me. So I never want
That's
to be that
awesome.
like CEO that somebody's like, hey, this guy's out of touch, So
Yeah, yeah,
and quite
Well,
frankly, like,
you do have some stuff on Motion or on Amazon.ca.
we have a couple dealers that sell through there. But
yeah.
we don't ourselves. As much as we all like the Amazon mentality and like being able to order some shop rags and have them next day, they're not fun to do business to business with. So like, it's just
Yeah.
it's not in my interest level to work with those guys. And we're growing at a pace that I'm very proud of. So I don't feel like there's any cheat codes in business. Not one thing I've ever done has been a cheat code yet. So I have a hard time believing Amazon will be that for me.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like you need them. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody telling me I'm leaving money on the table, but I'm pretty hard headed, so I'll just continue down. Yeah.
yeah. That's good. Well, what do you think, Rich? TKO round yet?
yeah, I'm just looking at my list. We covered lots of stuff, and it was a busy day yesterday. We had Sean, the What No Way guy, was also at the dyno with us. So there was lots of shit talking. We had lots of fun yesterday at the dyno. My car, I ran it on wastegate, and it made what his car did with a supercharger, and couldn't make any more because the belt was slipping. I tried to tell him, but
You went through
I won't go
that.
into I won't go into the details, but we had a pretty good time there yesterday. But it was a long day.
What kind of car does he have?
It's got a 4-door Chevelle, Cruvella, it's called, with a Blueprint 540 in it. And last year he ran NA. This year he's got a F1. I think he's got an F1C Pro Charger.
Okay.
So he's going to learn all about belts and slippage and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah,
I like the
I learned about running out of turbo, so
Yeah.
I didn't know when it was going to happen, but apparently 94 120 turbo runs out about 1,500 and some horsepower to the wheels. So
Yeah, the math is
you guys
math.
don't sell turbos yet, hey, Doug?
We did at one point, and then we kind of went away from selling other people's products. So, you know.
Yeah, I knew that, but
Oh my God.
I'm working on my shit talk. I'm not very good at some, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
your voice. There's something about the Canadian accent doesn't do like bode well with shit talking and all that. I feel like it's just you're too nice of a group of people, you know.
Yeah,
yeah,
sucks.
it's good.
Yeah.
Well, Rich will he doesn't have to talk nice. He'll just choke you out. Let him get his hands on you.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, so.
Awesome. All right. So should we do the TKO round then, Rich?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. So we usually ask a TKO, or actually we've changed it to the TKX round now. But
Yeah.
that's
We've
manual.
updated it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a manual transmission stick shift.
Yeah,
So
I've been around them. I have talked.
okay. Speaking of shit talking, so first gear. So Doug, what's the first car that you owned or modified?
It was a '94 Firebird Formula with a 6-speed.
Oh, excellent.
LP1 OptiSpark, just a real troublesome ignition system.
And what'd you do to it?
I broke it a lot, but I actually manual swapped that car. So when I bought it, it had a 406E. I broke 3 of them within like 9 or 12 months, and then I really had not worked on cars much. And then my dad came home one day, and it was in the garage, and I had a 6-speed laying on the floor, and I was putting it in there. He's like, "You're ruining your car. You still have a payment on this car. What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna put a 6-speed in it," and I did. It was the most fun. It made it exponentially more fun.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay him hardly anything to say that.
Ironically, I started breaking rear ends after that. So, but ironically, also I have a rear end company now. So
yeah, that's
there
good.
you go.
That's good.
You're like the perfect stick shift guy.
yeah.
Just need a clutch company. All right, we're gonna bang it into second gear here. What, in your opinion, has been the biggest technology change to move our sport forward?
EFI, no doubt. I came from the world. I had a factory computer, the orange Mustang I call Pumpkin Spice, had a factory computer in it, and or I should say aftermarket EFI, and just like an AEM True Boost controller. And my God, the things I struggled with then, the technology is just second nature now. It's incredible. So there's so many good EFI systems, and they're pushing each other forward.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see the changes in EFI with like the M-Trons and everything else coming out. And it'd be interesting to see what changes Holly comes up with in the next iteration of the Dominator. I'm sure it's in the works or has been for a while, but we haven't seen it yet. So.
Yeah, and we just put fuel tech on that same car I was talking about, and it was like it was. I'm not like a EFI snob or anything like that, but like all the different brands are so good anymore. And they're all pushing each other forward. But that one went phenomenally, and yeah. So I love the EFI side of things, even though I'm not the what most would call a tuner or some guru or anything like that. But if I can manage my way through it, most people can.
So speaking of pushing it forward, let's palm this into third gear. If you could spend one day with someone, who would it be and what would you do?
Oh man. I feel like I've done it already. Hanging out with Stevie Fast, behind the scenes of a pro mod operation was really what I wanted to do. If I was gonna say somebody though, I would probably say Elon. I want to like find out how that guy has enough time to like redevelop rocket ships on a day-to-day basis faster than we're making pumps.
Yeah.
That's like I just can't follow. Like I just doesn't add up. So I'd probably say Elon.
Well, he does so much. I mean, he's got like 14 kids. Like, how many companies? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, like there's a lesson to be learned, or a lot of lessons to be learned from that guy. I mean, he's love or hate him. What he's done is probably never been done before. Probably never will be.
Probably so. Yeah.
As much as I hate electric cars, that's the guy.
Perfect. I like it.
Yeah. All right, let's pull her down into fourth gear. What influences you to build your cars? I'm thinking I know the answer, but
Just part development mostly. That's probably why I've focused more on development than being good at racing in the last like 3 or 4 years. Just trying to roll the ball forward. Most of what I like, that orange Mustang I was talking about, we got it out the other day, hadn't run in 2 years, put it on the dyno. We were basically final release testing a new sensor, and then I got back and I had no interest in racing it, loaded up on the rack and put it back away. I knew I couldn't spend enough time to be meaningful with it. So yeah, part development is number one right now for me. Hopefully I get back into
Nice.
the competitive side of things.
Nice. All right, let's hit the
Hey,
first
before you go to
Oh.
fifth, I just thought, Bill,
Okay.
you know, we got to modify one of these questions to ask people what their daily driver is. Remember, we'll have to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna miss fifth and go to 4.5. What's your daily driver?
Well, I actually just got a Ford F-250, so that's technically my daily driver. But being in
gas
Florida,
or diesel?
diesel.
Nice.
But most days I try to drive my 72 Nova. We call it Bubba's Nova. It's
Yeah.
bench seat, all patina original, supercharged
Love
LF.
it.
So that's
Nice.
what I try to drive.
Nice. Are you friends with
It'd be
Gail
more
Banks
fun with a
yet?
stick in it.
What's that?
Go ahead,
No,
Bill.
it would be more fun with a stick in it. It's got a 4L80 and that part's super boring. That transmission has big splits and like just a little bit of a sloppy converter until the lockup comes on, and I'm like, man, this thing don't have enough power to be doing all this. I need to be
Yeah.
in this thing.
Are you friends with Gail Banks yet since you bought that diesel?
I'm a firm believer that diesel should be left stock.
Okay.
Far too expensive to be modifying, and I have enough unreliable cars at this point. So
Okay. All right, so let's go to the first overdrive, fifth gear. What, in your opinion, is the secret? He may not even know the answer to this. What is the secret to stick shift racing?
knowing where your lockup is in first gear, where the clutch couples with the engine. I know that from racing with my dad. If you can do that, you can make a repetitive race car. Not
I
everybody
thought he
has.
was going to say, I thought you were going to say get in the car before Brett.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, with a organic disc factory, that's probably the key.
So
be the first.
yeah. So that would apply to
the
a
first-
diaphragm clutch. Yeah. So yes, I gotcha.
Yeah, I know that. I know there's that sweet spot on a stick shift, at least on a car. I'm sure it applies to all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we threw the TKX out the window and moved to a T56 now.
Okay.
Did you get a memory of the first time you took a car down the track with a stick?
Yeah, that was that Firebird. Drove it around after I put it together. Everything was good. And sidestepped the clutch and just exploded the factory 10 bolt. Just a glorious explosion of ring gears coming out the back of the fucking cover and shit. And I was like, guess I'm gonna need a 9-inch now. I mean, it was literally the first time I took it to the track. I'm like, I guess there's some finesse here that I'm not privy to at this point. So
Oh, I love it.
Maybe
I
you
love
better
it.
stick to automatics. Yeah, that's funny.
I wasn't naturally blessed with the stick shift, release. So
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So, tell us all your social media and sponsor plugs or whatever you want to put down. Just tell us what it is.
Oh god, there's so many. So Motion Raceworks. We're on all the stuff: Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and TBM brakes, Rife sensors. We don't have a FluidWorks one now that you say that. That's our oil and fuel system company, and then Mark Williams. So you guys want some quality driveline components, so you're not spitting ring gears out the back of the factory 10 bolt. That's the place to go. That's my baby right now. So
Awesome. All right. Well, we're gonna bring this thing to a closure. You can obviously find Clutch Burners podcast on the podcast platforms and YouTube, because if you're listening to it, you found it. And we love to see people in Clutch Burners merch and also Stick Shift Nation merch. And you can find all of that over at stickracing.com. And that's all I got.
Yeah, other than thanks for your time, Doug. We know you're a busy guy, and really appreciate you sitting down with us for a while here tonight. And You got to probably go put a 2-year-old to bed or something.
She's already in bed. That's why the talking worked out great. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully one of these days I'll have a stick shift car and I can come back on and talk about actual stick shift stuff.
All right. We'll take a rain check on it then. That's perfect.
Right,
It's a
fair enough.
date.
Thank you guys.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Doug. We're
We'll see.
out. All right.